This is Nelson Garcia. I'm a nurse and a perfusionist, and I am one amongst many healthcare professionals that are on the front lines fighting against this COVID pandemic. In fact, for me, what it meant at the beginning of this year during this first spike of the pandemic, I ended up serving in many different hospitals, taking care of patients who were more critical. There are many who are exposed to the COVID who get some symptoms, flu-like symptoms, and are sent home and then recover. And so the patients that I ended up seeing were those who were having a little more struggle in developing enough immunity on their own to overcome the invasion of this virus. So some of the patients that I would see would end up being intubated, needing ventilator support. Some of them were needing even a little bit more support and put on this device called an ECMO device. And so what an ECMO device is, it's sort of like an artificial lung. And so we'll actually bypass the patient's lungs and go directly to a major vessel and take the blood directly to this artificial lung, oxygenated, and then send that oxygenated blood back to the patient via another major vessel. Meanwhile, we're trying to rest the lungs, and the physician staff are trying to give treatments that help to overcome and heal the lung in these patients, hopefully to overcome and get better. Well, many days, me and many of my peers spend here taking care of patients, and we're of course observing all of the protocol of protection, the PPE protocols with the masks and the goggles and the hats and the gowns and the gloves and the booties and everything. And so that actually helped to form a good external barrier between us and this virus. And I think that, we're as professionals very good about observing that and doing our best. But you know what? Not only do we spend time here, we're in public and grocery stores, and so exposure can happen anywhere. And so one of the things that I was wondering as I was not necessarily symptomatic myself, but yet I was wondering, hey, have I been exposed? Have I start building up this immunity antibodies, because there is a test for antibodies against specific to this coronavirus, and I wanted to get it, but at the time, because during the heightened period, there's I guess a scarcity and supplies are low, and so I really wasn't able to easily get a hold of that test, the one that tests for antibodies. And recently I have been able to do that, and it was just something that I wanted to do to find out what my potential immunity status was, and if I had previously been exposed. So I guess since that experience, I thought now we're all in this next phase, we're preparing for this next spike, and we're in the midst of going back to work and trying to open business, get the economy going. And I think there's a need to know, of course, if you have symptoms, there's one thing you got to do. You got to go to the doctor, get checked out, or at least call your practitioner, and they may order for the test to see if you actually have the virus. But I think for a large group of us who are going back to work, potential exposures, or wherever you are, maybe it's not even work, just your day-to-day, and I'd be curious to know what our immunity potential status is. Are we developing antibodies against this coronavirus? So it's sort of been a mission of mine now to make it a little easier to access that, and perhaps give that information to people who may benefit by knowing that not only are we doing to our best of our abilities to protect ourselves externally, but maybe even knowing what our internal defense immunity status potential might be. So if you're wanting to know more information, it's sort of what I'm wanting to do is just, number one, get more information to you. Click on the link below. I want to inform you on what this antibody test does, what benefits it may have, or if it's even applicable for your situation. And if you're just wanting to ask questions, I want to create a forum where we can educate and help you make informed decisions as you move forward and protecting yourself and the people in your circle. So if this is beneficial or something helpful for you, click on the link, click on the number, ask for more information, or where you can hook up to perhaps a forum that we can answer questions and actually get these tests brought to where you are, a place of work or personal places. Thank you, and hope to talk soon.